YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, Marlin from Arrows. You got to check this thing out. 3200 4S, comes with flaps. It's got a rudder. It's always handy. Inexpensive option. This thing is on sale right now. Check it out, guys. Throttle cuts off, take off flaps. We set ours up with the AR 631 or 630 actually. Here we go, in the air. Okay. Out of flaps. There are no retracts, but I tried to flip the switch. So guys, if you're looking for something fun that you can fly and enjoy and not have a bunch of money tied up in because it's 4S, look no farther than the Marlin, okay? The Marlin is a really good option. It's not an expensive option. It's not 6S, so it's not gonna set you back thousands of dollars inside paths. Let's go by the bowl. Going over the new construction zone there. Stop. Good high-speed passes. Good roll rate if you want it to. And with flaps set up as barn doors and a nice slip like I'm doing now. Look at this thing. Look how quick you can get it in for a landing, guys. On the mains and then out. There it is, guys. So much fun. Now, that being said, if you're not quite to that limit or not to that level yet, then check this out. Let's just turn safe on. There's safe. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and glide and just show you what happens when you have safe on. Sensor-rated flight envelope, a little bit of throttle. We've got it going in a straight line, and I'm gonna fly it with safe for a pass. Going up over the nuclear blast in the background. That's the sun. And then basically just cruising along, enjoying our time. No big deal. You let go of the sticks, it levels the plane right away. Pretty cool, but I can't handle it anymore. So we're in AS3X mode now. So here we go. A little bit of rudder, a little bit of elevator, a little bit of aileron. Take off flaps now. So guys, if you're new to the hobby and you're looking for something that can get you from zero to hero, in the EDF realm, this thing might be it. Like I said, relatively inexpensive option, sold as a plug and play, and you can set it up however you want, whatever receiver, whatever radio system you like, but we're gonna show you how to do it in the unbox build radio setup, which was already filmed a while back. This is gonna be kind of a revisit for us because the thing, I believe, is on sale right now. And so all you have to do is look at Brian Phillips RC, our domain website, check out coupon codes. Also follow the links in the video description below and you'll be able to help support us. But the easiest way is just head over to Brian Phillips RC when there's coupon codes involved, full landing flaps. Watch this thing slow down, folks. Watch this thing. This is why I like this plane. You can slow it down so slow. Makes it so much easier for the beginner to be able to control. Okay, full throttle, right over the horizon. And look at the ups, guys, really good ups. Now this thing will do some wind, and we'll have a flight for you in the wind, but it's super bright. And so we wanted to get you guys something with a little better backdrop so that you could really appreciate how good this thing could do. And it doesn't sound too bad for being a 64 millimeter EDF jet. Now, in terms of performance, speed, time, all that stuff, I think the Marlin is probably going to be pretty moderate, but it's also 4S and it's designed as a good entry-level EDF jet. And so don't expect it to be some sort of a super intense performer. That's not what it's designed to do. It's supposed to be something to help people get their whistles wet when it comes to EDF jets. And it does a very good job of that. Oh, did you feel the wind? That was cool. Take off flaps now on the way over. And so if you guys like the way this thing flies and you want to enjoy one for your very own, check it out. Buy one for yourself. It's going to be a fun experience. Even if you are an experienced RC pilot, you might want to do this. I'm going to shoot the moon here. There it is. Shot the moon. Pretty good high-speed passes for 4S, I gotta say. That's our timer. Probably not gonna push my luck on this one tonight. See if we can get another nice landing. We'll go down out here. Full landing flaps. We'll get it down into the low opening. It's hard to see the trees, guys. Beautiful. Just cheating, touch and go. Over the pond site, past the bull, and we'll bring it out here and bring it in this way. It's a little easier for you guys to see what's going on. Take off flaps now. Very low throttle. Full landing flaps coming in now. See if we can relax into it, use up some of our inertia, get over the treetops, bring it down some, get into the throttle, ride the line, and there it is. Tip salt into the ground. We are not ending that way because that would be redonkulous. But what we are gonna do is fly around and try it again so it doesn't suck. Okay, full landing flaps. Here we go. Look at that thing slow down. So gorgeous. There it is, guys. Much better. Okay, it felt so good, I can't resist doing it again. So one thing I like about this plane that I also hate about this plane is the fixed gear. Why do I like fixed gear? Because it's one less thing to worry about braking because it's just basic. You can also tear them off of there with one tool and land on your belly. Or you can just keep shooting takeoffs and landings all day long because the Marlin is quite fun to land. And if you've never experienced it, you're really gonna enjoy it. All right, we're landing. Huh?
I'm gonna lose battery.
Okay. All right, here we go, guys. If the battery dies, don't forget to buy these from the links in the video description below and support us on Patreon and PayPal, as well as YouTube Super Thanks and YouTube members. Thanks for being one if you already are. And guys, look at that thing, Marlin by Arrows. So much fun, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching. So much more coming from Brian Phillips RC. And even though this isn't a brand new release, it is definitely a fun one. And I think you guys would like one. If you haven't already got one, check it out. Very fun, flown on 4S 3200. Guys, that's all I got to say because the battery's about to puke. Stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got the Arrows Marlin here. We're gonna show you this thing, very cool 5-channel option for you if you're new to EDFs and you wanna fly something that's relatively easy, that will put up with a little bit of wind. And this thing is only gonna fly on 4S, which some of you guys that are into 6S are gonna think, well, that's not great. Just remember, everybody starts somewhere, and this is a great place for you to start if you're thinking about it. Now, you could technically run it on 3S, but I wouldn't suggest it. Now, one thing I really like about this plane is we've equipped ours with AS3X safe, and we have flaps on there. Now, we used an AR631 in our original setup, and you can follow right to that video at the end. We'll have splash screens that come up. This is our AR631, okay? So this is a plug and fly plane, or plug and play, depending on who you ask. And that means you set up your receiver and you get ready to rock and roll. So here we go, take off flaps, and we'll show you how to do it in the Unbox Build radio setup. Here we go. Oh yeah, in the air, no problem. Out of the flaps. Now we have AS3X on right now, so we're handling the wind with no problem. About 40-30% throttle over by the Eagle killing zone. Out of the throttle now. Just to show you the ups on 4S, it's not anything to scoff at, because basically what you've got is you've got an airframe that's extremely light, extremely simple, and I'm gonna turn my master gains up just a little bit. It's been a while since I flew this plane. Master gains for me are set up on the right knob. So if you carry a little bit of speed, this thing, it's not unlimited vertical, but it's close. That was out of throttle all the way from the loop. Now, 4S 3200 is a big pack for a beginner flyer inside. Just so you know. And if you want, the thing that's nice about a 4S 3200 is that you can get that CG back so that you can have a tail heavy configuration on the front mark and a nose heavy configuration on the back mark, because they give you 2 marks when you're marking your CG. Okay, takeoff flaps, landing flaps. Watch this flight envelope, guys. Slows down real nice. Woo! Grass hops. Now you guys may notice fixed gear are the only thing that some of you are not gonna like about this plane, and that's okay, because really what happens with fixed gear is you end up with a plane that's simpler, and then the beginner can handle a little bit less complications from having retracts that malfunction or whatever. And I gotta say, this thing reminds me a lot of other 64 millimeter offerings. This is a 64 millimeter EDF. Did I say 70 on accident?
I don't know what you said, actually.
Yeah,
Now
I don't think I did.
Question yourself?
Full landing flaps here and the turn. Look at that, guys. Into the wind. We're gonna go dance with the windsock. Oh, into the full throttle. And plenty of power to get out of that. Now, full disclosure, 3200 4S today. We're running a 50C pack, which is a nice way of doing it, guys. But you wouldn't have to use such a robust pack. You could use a 30C pack and you'd get away with it just fine. And also, to be honest, if you're not flying aggressively, you could probably fly this on 3S. It's just gonna be a lot more of a lame experience. Now, lame is what you need when you're brand new to the hobby, guys, because lame will still scare the crap out of you when you're a brand new pilot. Okay, we're going. Okay, so camera crew, let's go over and show them the construction zone for a minute. I'm gonna keep overhead and then we'll just go over by the bull. You ready? Full landing flaps here, going with the wind. Okay, as you can see, we've got a nice big opening in the bowl now. If you guys aren't familiar with Brian Phillips RC, this is what we do. We unbox planes, we build them, review them, and then we come back to them, sometimes up to a few years later, and then sometimes when there's just specials. And there just happens to be a special right now on this Marlin, about 30% throttle there, takeoff flaps. We have a 5-minute timer on this, but I think we're gonna stretch it until it's dead. Okay, so this here is gonna be our pond that I'm flying over right now. And that's gonna give us a whole nother crosswind landing strip about where these stakes are. See that big bunch of stakes there under me? That's gonna be where the dam enters this side of the yard. And then I'll fly back over. So basically I'd be going right to that'd be to the left of the dam. You can see the other set on the other end. So I'm kind of flying down the strip right now. I'd be landing right now, which would be kind of convenient today because that's exactly where the wind is. Full landing flaps now. Look at that thing slow down. Look how nice that is. Now watch the high alpha if I get into it. Not bad for a 64 on 4S, guys. Okay, coming back to the center. So folks, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, what we do is we review these planes. We help you get the most out of them as best we can. And I love flying these airplanes. We also do other RC. That's our timer. So we'll just keep going now. And we will go well beyond the 5 minutes, I'm guessing. And that's not something I necessarily suggest you do as a beginner pilot. Set a timer that you agree with and then just go ahead and respect it. Take off flaps now. Out of the flaps. Now I'm gonna show you guys what safe looks like. So I'll get into a configuration with takeoff flaps. Now I'm gonna pull to safe. See how auto levels, but check this out. Sorry about the sun. What happens is as soon as you let go of the sticks, it levels the plane. You let go of the stick, it levels the plane. You push the stick down, it levels the plane. And then you just kind of give it some instructions, and then when you let off, it's gonna level the plane. Pretty cool, huh? So that works out really nice, especially if you need some help landing because you're inexperienced, maybe. So let's show you guys a safe landing. It better not be better than my not safe landing. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw the takeoff flaps on. I've opened up my bank angles just a little bit on this one. So I think it's like 75 up, 75 down, and 60 left and 60 right. Okay, so just kind of giving a little bit of encouragement. And look at that terrible landing I did for y'all. That's amazing. And by the way, I just wanted to show you grass ops, obviously. Okay, now shutting off the stabilizer, going back to AS3X only, we'll show you some short field takeoff. You see this, guys? It's not very long. I'll call that about 55 feet, okay? So full throttle. Here we go, watch this. She's in the air. That is pretty impressive for a relatively small EDF. Now, if you guys are used to having beginner planes and just simple, basic flight platforms to learn to fly, look no further than the Marlin if you want to have something more exciting. Because this is going to give you something that's relatively easy to fly. It's going to give you a rudder. It's going to give you an elevator. It's going to give you ailerons. And it's gonna give you flaps. But also, if you're really into it, you can do some fun stuff with your radio setup. Let's go way out to the runway here, camera crew. And just so you guys know, crosswind, landings and all that, they definitely are challenging. And so don't fly on a super windy day when you're a new pilot. Okay, going through a hole there. There's an AS3X landing. Touch and go. So we're at probably 7 minutes now. Cornhole. Oh, that was cool. Get it flying. Full throttle. Whee! That was close. Almost hit the windsock. Do you guys see how janked up that got? That was pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna just go right through the same hole, full landing flap. So we're just gonna, oh, wow, look how much I'm carrying. A little bit too far. Now, that is a symptom of what we call crosswind and me going way too fast, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just curl it around in the air a little bit and wrap it up in a ball. High speed stall it? Oh, not quite. Just trying to high speed stall this thing for you so you can see how insane it gets. So that's one thing I've noticed about the Marlin. Ooh, got to get over the cherry tree. It disappears in the backdrop. You guys see how it's kicking over to the, toward us basically? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back over in the bowl. Camera crew, you wanna walk in front of me there? Let's work your way over. Perfect, right there. And then I'll just try taking a landing from this side, see if it does a little better. Crosswind, just definitely, I'm always trying to explore new paths for a good landing in the wind. And you know, every year these trees change. Those ones aren't ours, by the way. You have to cut over the top of them on final. Whoa, there we go. There it is, woo! Got her down in one piece. Oh, but I haven't had enough, so we're gonna take off and narrowly avoid the UPS stick. That is a UPS, anti-UPS driver stick. Yes, I do use UPS because UPS is the one that goes off, right? Oh, no, it's not. It's actually anti-UPS slash FedEx.
Slash post office slash
Amazon.
everyone. Yeah.
Slash whoever they hired that day. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's losing power. Okay, here we go. Landing flaps, back to takeoff flaps. Get it here, Brian. Full landing flaps now. Oh, we'll be fine. Okay, takeoff flaps, a little bit of juice. There it is, guys. Whee! She's a down. Sliding it around. And there you have it, guys. That's kind of fast and furious. And just so you know, that was 5 minutes and 17, 18, 19, 20, plus 5 is 10. And it's not quite dead yet. So that's a pretty good flight time for a plane of this size and scope. Now, I gotta admit, I've had smoother and more gorgeous looking flights, but that wind is variable and somewhat gusty. So as a result, that's what you have to deal with when you have the angles we have, okay? So the thing that's really cool for you is that we have this small little project going on over here. And like I said, once that crosswind strip is done, then this Arrows Marlin is gonna be even better to fly. Because really at the end of the day, when I think about flying an RC airplane and I think about 4S, I don't. You know why? Because I have progressed on to mostly 6S jets. But I'm gonna tell you something. This 4S jet does really good. EDF jets that are 4S are great for people that are getting into the hobby, people that maybe don't have the same budget for a 6S offering, but also with a 64 millimeter EDF fan, this thing does really good. And if you look inside there, you can see it's got, I think it's 11 bladed fan.
Probably.
And it just does a really good job. So for what it is, it's amazing. But just keep in mind, guys, this is somewhat of an economy offering because of, you know, removable landing gear can be popped off with one tool because you have to undo this set screw. Then this comes off. But you do have the steerable nose gear, which is nice. You can take off and just do belly landings, and that's fine too. And on a day like today when you've got the variable winds, and by the way, look at the windsock. It's not like it's nothing, guys. Mm-hmm. So when you see me coming in here and doing crazy things to keep it on the runway, keep in mind, this thing is light. That's why you get such a good flight time. That's why you get the ups, and that's why you don't have retracts, because they wanted to keep it light and agile. So it is definitely both of those things. It's light and agile, and it's really fun. And I feel like because they give us all the control surfaces, you don't just get ailerons, you don't just get elevator, you don't, you know, it's not a bank and yank. You're not gonna lose the rudder, which is a big deal for me. If you're trying to learn to fly without control surfaces, you're really learning to not fly. Because what's happening is, sure, you can fly around, you can bank and yank all day, but as soon as you add more controls, it changes a lot. Now, that doesn't mean you can't learn in a bank and yank configuration, but I would much rather you learn with a 4-channel or a 3-channel or a 5-channel. I'd rather you learn with 5-channel, because here's the thing. Get flaps into your repertoire as soon as you can. You need to learn how to use flaps. They'll help you slow your planes down. They'll help you fly in different environments. They'll help you increase your elevator authority. There's so many things you can do, but I just feel like giving up the rudder is such an important thing. And if you don't have flaps, you gotta have the rudder so that you can slip planes and slow them down on landing. And when I mean slip, if you don't know what I mean, you're coming in like this and you kick that rudder, and then it wants to point the nose, and then you point your ailerons whatever direction you're kicking. And what happens is then you control the plane like this, and it slows the plane down. So it's coming at you as you're coming into final. You can flare, but flaring at too high a speed just makes you climb. So you kind of kick it like this, and it slows you down. And it makes a big difference because you increase the drag. So I feel like there's so much to be gained by having all 5 channels. But if you have to give up a channel, I would say it's gotta be, between flaps and rudder, it's a tough call, because I want flaps all the time.
But you don't have to use your flaps. If
No.
you get this and you're nervous about having to do, you don't have to use the flaps right away, but they're there when you're ready.
That's right.
To start
So,
using
and
it.
we use an AR630 in here, but you could use an AR631. The reason we did the 630 is it's antennaless. It was super easy to mount. And so we'll link to that, of course, to the video description below. It's right up here. You can still get to the bind button. I think I might have Velcroed that in. Yeah, I Velcroed that in. So if I need to get to it and pull it out, that's kind of an easy way to do that. But yeah, in terms of where the battery is, look how far back it is, guys. That's pretty incredible. And then earlier you heard me mention something about the front and back holes. This is where the center of gravity marks are. You can see on both sides of the wings. We did that, of course, and we do that in our unbox build radio setup. So if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC and you don't know what we do here, we open these up from the box. We set them up with a radio from a Virgin setup. We show you exactly what they do and how they do it. Now, that is still with the basis of comparison being me as a pilot. And so, of course, I'm gonna make stupid mistakes like miss the runway and overshoot the runway and turn crappy landings into touch and goes, just like all of you. So the beauty of it is, you're not gonna see some professional pilot that never makes mistakes and flips upside down immediately and flies the entire flight, dragging the tail feathers on the ground while going at 1 mile an hour. That's just impossible stuff. And I'm not a computer. I am just a dude that likes this stuff a lot. And so we hope that you guys enjoy the content. We hope that you guys will be here to help support us. And the way you can support us is one of many different ways, but not the least of which is buy these amazing planes, buy these radio systems, buy the batteries when we link to them in the video description below. We have been fighting Google. They've been trying to block a bunch of links for no apparent reason because they're a bunch of morons. And so please help us to flip them the one-fingered salute by buying from the links. You can help remind them that they're not in charge of your lives and they don't know better, because all these tech companies just think they're so dang smart. and yet they have no clue what their audience is doing. And you are an amazing audience, and you have been supporting us in this way for years, so we really, really appreciate it. And that's helping to fund that project right now, I can tell you with certitude. But that being said, if you want to help support us, and maybe you've already got the Marlin, or you're on to 6S, or you're on to 8S, or 12S, or some crazy other size, or maybe you're doing real turbine jets, keep in mind, it's still fun to have an everyday flyer that you can throw around and don't feel bad about, just to keep in mind. But beyond that, if you want to support us in other ways, we have Patreon for monthly supporters. Thanks if you're one of them. I think we have like 42 supporters, something like that.
50, I think.
Oh, maybe it's 50.
Yeah.
Okay, so 50 supporters. My apologies, guys. I get the numbers mixed up. But if you're one of them, I know because I'm always talking to you guys. And then thank you for being that, by the way. And then we have PayPal for one-time supporters if you want to do friends and family that nobody pays fees, which is kind of nice. And then we have YouTube members, which thanks for being a member. I think we're up to 20 now.
We are.
Because we just got a notification from Google. Yeah, that's right. We were just talking about the salute. They do keep track of that. They take their cut. Don't worry, guys. There's only one reason they care about that. It's for money. And then the third way to support, the fourth way to support.
Yep,
that was the fourth.
Yep.
YouTube super thanks.
Yes.
So guys, any of those awesome ways to support Brian Phillips RC will be much appreciated by myself and our family of 6. We do depend on this. It's a big part of our regular income anymore. But I'm going to tell you this, we do love airplanes. We do love this RC hobby. And when there's amazing sales, there's one-stop shop for you, and that is brianphillipsrc.com. That's our domain. It's our website that, yes, we bought from the mothership Google.
Yes.
And yet they're still blocking links that take you there. But anyway, that's so dumb. So guys, check it out. If you can't find the link to this, go to Brian Phillips RC. It's spelled just like it is on the YouTube channel. So make sure you don't spell it wrong. B-R-I-A-N, Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S.
All eyes.
RC. It's all eyes, guys. Just like Phillips 66 minus the royalties, okay? You guys probably don't even know what that is, most of you.
Probably not. That's terrible.
I know, we're so old. But that's awesome. So guys, the Marlin is super fun. It's an Arrows product. It's an Arrows offering. Yes, we know Arrows is working through some things. Let's just put it that way. But the truth is they are working through them. So that's good. And they still have some amazing offerings. And we're gonna bring you all the latest and greatest new stuff, as well as occasionally sharing about awesome deals that they have. So they do have some awesome deals on this. And then there's a few others that are gonna be coming up. So guys, if you wanna help support us, just follow the link, check out this plane. And while you're there, if you decide you want something different, that's fine too. So long as you follow our link to get there, it shouldn't matter what you end up picking. So don't worry, you're still supporting us. And we know a lot of you guys, our heartfelt thanks go out to you for asking the question. And we wanna just try to make sure that you guys know when you do follow our links, generally speaking, you just buy whatever you want once you're there, and they will credit us for that. So that's really helpful. It really makes this job worthwhile, and it helps because the camera crew is behind the scenes spending 50, 60, 70 hours a week doing this stuff, and then I'm spending 30 to 60 hours, although right now it's been so busy at my day job, which is working on industrial scales, that it's been slightly reduced, and the weather has been terrible.
And it's
so
only gonna get worse.
This is the Midwest in Iowa in fall, and late fall, I might say.
It is, yeah.
It's gonna get worse. And so guys, we really appreciate your support right now going into Thanksgiving. Thank you for supporting us. Or is this after Thanksgiving?
No, this will be before.
This will be before Thanksgiving? Okay, so we're thankful for you, and we do like turkey.
Unless you're in Canada, and then thank you. We missed you.
Some other date around the year, yeah. We're thankful
We're still
for you
thankful
too.
for you.
That's right.
Yes.
So guys, there you go, the Marlin. We're thankful for the Marlin. That's right. If it was a fish, it'd be delicious. But instead, it's an RC aircraft. And by the way, if you're comparing this to other offerings, just remember this does have flaps. It is P&P, which means that you will have a receiver. Okay, so just keep in mind, a lot of people ask me, what's this compared to that? Keep in mind, fixed gear, rudder, 64, okay? I think this one's like 980 millimeters or some such thing. I apologize, I don't know that off the top of my head. And it runs on 4S or 3S. I would not fly it myself on 3S ever, but you guys, you might be into that. You may be super calm environment, it might be fine. You've got a huge runway, whatever, no big deal. But this thing here, 4S or 3S, 64 millimeters, fixed landing gear, inboard flaps. Inboard flaps are better, okay? As opposed to like a long aileron, you have to set up flaperons. They never work quite the same. and then you do have to provide your own receiver. So just keep in mind, those are value added things that you may not like on this plane compared to another one. Also, this one doesn't have the vector. If you are able to order this, and this is like a 2-year-old video and you're like, I really like the way it flew in your video, then just take the vector and use it for some other product. That is a stabilizer that would come in some of the Arrows lineup, okay? This one doesn't have the vector, okay? Now, they also, at one point, had a ready to fly. I don't even know if that's gonna be available at this point.
I don't think that it is, but...
But if it comes back, we just wanna mention that if it does come back, generally they do have a vector or stabilized receiver in most of their ready to fly offerings. This one here we reviewed was a plug and play, okay? So hopefully we've answered all your technical issues. Yes, the NX10 has been great. There are other offerings. There's an NX7E now, which is really nice. You could totally do this plane on the NX7E, and you could pretty much do everything we're doing without any problems, okay? But also just keep in mind, when you do it, there may be some very small differences in the way we set ours up from the way you set yours up with the NX7E. And if you have an older DX, just keep in mind, I get this question all the time. Hey, is there anything wrong with my DX? No, I've got a DX18 still. I don't hardly ever touch it though, because the NX line is so much faster in the menus, and just everything is, I'm used to it now, and I love it. And I've had like almost no problems with it. The biggest problem we have with the NX10 or any of the NX is the Wi-Fi connection sometimes like gets lost. And that's more our issue than, you know, this issue, because we work on, you know, rural internet, we're on satellite internet, and there's a lot of complexities that go into that. We don't even have a line to tap. So at this point, if you're thinking about getting into a Spectrum transmitter, just because you've got somebody to help you, which would be Brian Phillips, then that's a good call, okay? There's a lot of other great offerings out there, folks, just so you know. But I'm gonna just tell you this, I don't know them, so I can't always help you, and that does pain me. I'm not trying to poo-poo the other offerings, but we do really like the Spectrum offering. I am used to it. There are limitations. They're not the cheapest thing. They're also not the most expensive thing by a long shot. But I'm gonna tell you this, if you are a normal, and I say normal meaning like a retail RC enthusiast like me, and you're not, you know, building jets that are 25 feet long, weigh 200 pounds, getting special licensing and permits and flying from a real full-scale runway with like ATF agents there to make sure everything goes safe. You know, that if you're not that person, then you're more like me, where you're like, yeah, I want to spend like $100 on something and have it and know it's going to work really good, like an AR, you know, 631 or something like that, okay? So that being said, we try to answer and honor that type of RC enthusiast, somebody that's coming back to the hobby, somebody that's brand new to the hobby. And obviously, you're not ever gonna get to having the ATF agents and the FAA agents with you at the airport if you don't start somewhere. That's a terrible place to end. But all joking aside, we do stop for manned aircraft, and I hear one over there, but I can't see it. So it must be way out there. Guys, cool plane, good job, Arrows. We like this product. We hope that you guys will continue to make some good stuff like this. Complaints about this product. If you saw the unintelligible recovery after my cornhole move up there, it was pretty crazy and hairy. That's to say, yeah, he's right there actually. What is that? Is that a T-28?
Looks like it from under here.
That is so cool if it is, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
No,
it's got red wingtips.
It does.
That's cool.
It looks like it.
So, things I didn't like about this, I'm not crazy of no retracts, okay? But the thing is, I do like that there are fixed gears so you can do wheels up, wheels down, because I really appreciate and enjoy wheels up, wheels down, even though this thing would look a lot cooler without the wheels on, okay? And you could totally do that all day long. You could fly without wheels, okay? You could belly land this, no problem, except you do have linkages that might get caught up in the grass. And then also, look at these barn doors I set up. Those are barn doors, guys, look at that. Look how straight out those things are, that's crazy. So if you're landing, you better put a fast recovery speed on there, because if you leave those things down, you might drag them and break them, okay? Or just slow it down really slow and then put it down in taller grass, okay? So that being said, that's one issue, is the insane recovery after like a cornhole. Just remember, every plane is gonna have a certain amount of recovery time. This one just seems to be a little bit more of a handful on that move. So go up 2 or 3 mistakes high, do a cornhole, and then, or just some snap roll or whatever, and just get out of throttle and see how hard it is to get the nose pointed at the ground and not to crash. Get the thing flying, give it some throttle, pull out, fly like normal, okay? If you're a brand new pilot, don't do stupid things like I did. Just keep it in the air, land it, and when you feel more and more comfortable, you can start doing things like that. But remember, what's the best way to avoid a conflict in air is to practice a conflict in air, because then you know how to respond. And also, it's really good practice to learn how these planes respond in certain situations. And that's part of the reason why you're watching this video. So hopefully we've answered all your questions then a little bit more here on Brian Phillips RC. We really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us in all those different ways we mentioned earlier. And thanks for checking out the Marlin. It's really cool. I think you'll like one. Get one. Thanks for watching.